Have you ever held something that felt out of time? Not just an antique, but an object that seems to reject the very era it's found in. Today, I want to tell you about a briefcase that did just that. A leather briefcase that fell, quite literally, into our world with a story sealed shut. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is the Unexplained Archive. It was a rainy afternoon in May of 1954 in the heart of Rome. A bank clerk named Alberto Perigo was walking near the Via del Bottega Sciura when he witnessed it. A sudden, silent flash of violet light in the alley ahead. No sound, no smoke. Just a brief, shimmering distortion in the air, and then a thud as a sleek, gray briefcase hit the wet cobblestones. It had simply appeared. Alberto, a sensible man, reported it to the authorities. And when they pried it open, their confusion turned to profound, chilling disbelief. Inside were documents, maps, technical schematics, and personnel files. But none of it made any sense. The maps showed a familiar yet alien Europe, carved into new nations with names like the Euro-Soviet bloc and the Atlantic Federation. The city of Berlin was listed as a quarantined radiological zone. The schematics were for devices labeled atmospheric scrubbers and personal energy shields. The materials themselves were bizarre, thin, durable polymer sheets that wouldn't be invented for decades, printed with ink that seemed to absorb light. And then there were the photographs. One showed a soldier in form-fitting armor, standing before a ruined cityscape dominated by a shattered, unfamiliar skyscraper. The sky in the photo was a sickly, permanent yellow. The soldier's face was obscured, but on his shoulder was a clear patch, an insignia of a winged hourglass, with the words Temporal Reconnaissance Unit, 2077. A briefcase from the year 2077. From a future war. That was the impossible conclusion the small, secret Italian investigation reached. They called the hypothetical courier who lost it a chrononaut, a time traveler. But why? Was it a mistake? A malfunction? Or was it a deliberate drop, a message in a bottle from a future that hoped to prevent its own existence? The most haunting items were the personal effects. A small, laminated card with a nutritional table for standard-issue nutrient paste. A single, unfaded color photograph of a woman and a child, smiling in front of a domicile that looked like a polished concrete bunker. On the back, a handwritten note in a fluid script said, "For E. Always." And then there was the weapon. A palm-sized, brush metal device with no visible trigger or barrel. Italian scientists, famously, could not activate it. But when scanned decades later with X-rays, it showed no mechanical parts, just a dense, crystalline core. It was a tool from a battlefield we can scarcely imagine. The official report was sealed by the Italian government, classified for 100 years. The briefcase and its cash were whisked away, likely to some vault in Rome or maybe even across the Atlantic. But the story, as such stories do, leaked. Through a retired carabinier, through a journalist's anonymous source. The details are too consistent, too technically specific for its time to be mere fabrication. As an engineer, my mind snags on the schematics. The materials science alone would have been pure science fiction in 1954. As a storyteller, my heart snags on that family photograph. For E. Always. Did he ever receive it? Did the chrononaut make it home to that concrete bunker, to that smile? Or are they lost forever between seconds? Their mission a cryptic footnote in our past? This cache wasn't just evidence of time travel. It was a dispatch from a specific, grim destiny. A future that went to war, a future desperate enough to bend time itself. It makes me wonder about the objects we carry every day. Your phone, your wallet, your keys. What story do they tell? What world do they silently testify to? The chrononaut's briefcase was a snapshot of a struggle, a love note, and a warning, all tumbled into a Roman reign. It tells us that the future, perhaps, is already here, and it's been trying to get our attention. Thank you for listening. This has been the Unexplained Archive, a production of Light Knot Studios. Find more stories in the archive at https://www.lightknotstudios.com.